Do you want a highlight that will stand out from the old mold? Rising Recruits is here for you. Professional title screens with easy-to-read important information, use of multiple camera angles, professional graphics that emphasize your skills for coaches to see, 4K and high frame rate cameras to capture all the action. Call, email, or visit Small Moments Productions online today.
On the NorthJerseySports.com Multimedia Spotlight, the first one ever conducted on location at the world headquarters in downtown Northvale, New Jersey. I am Corey Doviak, being joined by a special guest tonight. I won't even mention the circumstances under which we do this interview, but it is very important that we get this posted for all of NorthJerseySports.com community. So we welcome in the head coach of the Old Tappan Fighting Lady Golden Knights, Brian Dunn. Brian, thank you for joining us here in the world headquarters.
I'm glad to be in the headquarters of the NorthJerseySports.com. Corey Doviak running the show. I'm ready to go.
All right, so we got to talk about, now we taped this on Saturday afternoon here over some hoops on the big screen TV. 43-41 victory. You were the number 18 seed. The team that you beat was the number 2 seed and undefeated Pascack Valley Indians. Now, listen, that in itself is a story, but when you talk about what happened on Thursday, it was the same opponents, same 2 teams. It was a 48-15 victory for Pascack Valley. What changed in 2 days?
Well, we were listen, the seeding with the county tournament, it's not really indicative of the competition between the 2 teams. So when it comes to playing Pascack Valley, Old Tappan, those games are always hard fought. They're blood and guts games. Pascack Valley is an outstanding team and on a different level this year. For us to play them Thursday night and lose the way we did, it was just it was kind of a, for our team, it was a wake up call and about how we were competing, how hard we had to compete to be able to compete with a team like that. Came back on Saturday and had a little different mindset, a little different attitude, and showed a little bit more of what we were able to do. And, for Pascack Valley to play us at that point, and I don't know if it was a great advantage for them being the 2 seed to play us twice in a row. I think it was a benefit to us to be able to identify what we weren't doing well, and we came back and adjusted.
Yeah, all that being said, obviously, listen, you were better than a number 18 seed. You beat number 15 Glen Rock in the first round of the tournament. You played the Poli tournament. You're the defending Group 3 state champs. You have played everybody. You lost everybody from last year's team, and yet you come back this year losing who was supposed to be one of your returning best players, Alex George, to a knee injury. Instead of adjusting the schedule to a quote-unquote new reality, you decided to keep the schedule the same, go into every tournament, play every team. How much does that help your kids when really by your actions of not changing things around and saying, well, we're not expected to be as good, so we're not going to be as good. Instead, you said, we're going out and playing everybody. How much do you think that helped when you got into a situation like this where your kids said, you know what, it's just another tough team on the docket?
Well, that's actually a good point for the way we kind of approach things. And our kids, the way we approach things is that we never feel like we're an underdog against anybody. If the day we start thinking we don't have a chance against anybody, I'm going to stop coaching and we're not really going to, it's not going to be our deal. So even after losing big and losing a lot of tight games, we had played about 10 games just like the one we played Saturday, which were close games. We didn't come out on top in many of them, but our position is always like we have a standard to uphold, a level that we want to play at, and if that ends up in a win, we're happy and grateful for it, but we just want to uphold a certain standard of play, level of play. So, on Thursday we didn't. On Saturday we upheld the standard. If we ended up and PV made a shot at the end and we lost, we still would have felt the same about ourselves, like we played the way we wanted to play. So I'm kind of happy with the outlook our team took.
I saw you in the Poli tournament, which is one of the most competitive holiday tournaments for Bergen County teams and outside the area. And I remember interviewing in the hallway, and you said to me after a loss that, we have kids who can put the ball in the basket. Mm-hmm. They haven't showed it yet on the varsity level. Talk about some of those kids who are now showing the ability to put the ball in the basket on the varsity level.
Yeah, so, Thursday you wouldn't think we could have put the ball in the ocean, but Saturday we came back, and, between Noel Gonzalez, who's great at getting to the rim, and Aaron Harnish and Jackie Kelly, great three-point shooters. Sophie Downey's a beast around the basket. It's just consistency we're playing with. I have kids who come off the bench. Katie Dunn's a good three-point shooter. Elise McCormick can put the ball in the basket. I have Gianna Sicosio, who's a freshman who's going to be a good player, and our point guard Skylar Regan's the only senior we have who's starting, and Elise is a senior coming off the bench who can hit a shot if you leave her open. So I have kids who can come in and do it. Like I said to you early, they have to show they can do it on a elite level. And Saturday was a great example. We didn't have a kid who scored 20 points or led the team, whatever. We had a lot of kids who scored 6, 7, 8 points, 9 points, and just when they had an open shot, they knocked it down. But more so than just hitting a shot, they hit it at opportune times. So that goes to our kind of grit and the way we kind of developed over the year.
I remember you getting, not angry, because you don't get angry with me because we're in the world headquarters of NorthJerseySports.com, but when we did the Where in North Jersey is Richie Barton before the football season this year, I brought up the fact that, hey, you lost a lot of guys from your state championship team, and you put your head down, you shake your head, and you said, I hate that question because it's high school sports and you lose kids every year. Now, you lost an all-time class from last year's girls basketball team. Went to a state final 2 years ago, won a state final last year. But still, it has to be, are you a little bit taken aback saying, wow, this group of kids has just, picked up the mantle and moved forward? Obviously, that's the message you sent because that's the message you sent me. But, talk about that aspect of it. You lose one of the best classes in the history of Old Tappan girls basketball, and now you're right back here in the Bergen County quarterfinals.
Yeah. Well, we still have a ways to go with the team we have. And the kids we have we've been struggling early in the year, and high school sports, everybody's graduating a team every year. Some teams have younger teams, and everybody's losing some element. We lost a big senior class, but the kids we have were all JV kids, and they're moving up. With the exception of Sophie, everybody else was a JV kid, and they're moving into their roles. They're trying to figure it out as they go. The only thing I can say about that is we have a standard, and this is what you got to live up to, and it doesn't waver regardless of who kids are who come in and play and move on. But we kind of trying to uphold the same standard and the effort and work ethic. So I think that's the most important for our guys.
So and now I think the job becomes, hey, this is a classic win. It was the number 18 seed beating an undefeated number 2 seed. But how do you tell your kids, like, this ain't over yet? We're still in the Bergen County tournament. You got IHA coming up in the quarterfinals, another young team who's going to be experiencing this for the first time. The job is not done yet.
I happen to be really good at that part of coaching, is being able to come in the next day and say you're really not as good as you were yesterday. So I don't have any worries about being able to tell them tomorrow, like, listen, we're getting back to work and this is all the stuff we have to improve. So that's not really a concern. It's more about, like, just my concern is the kids understanding what they have to do day to day just to get better.
All right, so I got an email from the unknown ranker on NorthJerseySports.com who is on top of everything. I don't even want to say male or female. Let's just say the ranker projected the state tournament and said that you will probably be a number 11 seed in the North 1 Group 3 state sectional tournament, which you have won the last 2 years. He said if there's anything the ranker would not want to be, it would be the number 6 seed in North 1 Group 3, because you guys have played everybody, you present the problem. I mean, do you feel like it's starting to kick into gear now where, second half of the season that you actually can make something, start to defend the titles that you've won over the last couple of years, even though this is a whole new group?
I honestly feel like our kids are we're just a work in progress. Like we have our eyes set on like when we're in a tournament, do we want to win a championship? I don't care what our record is. We're playing a tournament. The goal is to win the championship. So when it comes to the States, do we want to win, defend our title? At that point, yeah, we're going to talk about it, and that's definitely a goal. But putting that ahead of what we're doing right now, we just got to get better in practice tomorrow, and we'll talk about all the things we didn't do well in the game yesterday. As well as we played, there are going to be things we have to fix. So, yes, defending titles and being on top is part of our agenda, but it's more so like convincing kids how hard you have to work each day.
Final question for you. How did you enjoy the accommodations here at the world headquarters of NorthJerseySports.com?
I've never felt more comfortable walking into an interview. I've been treated well, and I have no complaints. I mean, I've sat down. I've been given the 5-star accommodations. So I'm willing to come back anytime they ask me. So
tune in tomorrow for part 2. See you next time on the Audio Spotlight.
Follow the leader.